used to think saving for a wedding was one of the purest acts of love a man could do. It wasn't about the money. It was about the promise behind it. Every extra shift I took, every late night balancing numbers, every time I skipped buying something for myself. I did it with one image in mind, her walking down the aisle toward me. That single vision pushed me for 5 years. 5 years of discipline. 5 years of sacrifice. 5 years of dreaming about the day we'd finally start our life together. And for the longest time, I believed she dreamed of it too. Her name was Maya. Warm smile, soft voice, the kind of person who cried at movie proposals and believed in destiny, or at least, that's who she was when I met her. When she said yes to my proposal 2 years ago, I thought I was the luckiest man alive. We started planning little things early. Her idea of flowers. My idea of music. Her dream venue. It's my dream menu. We talked about everything except how much it would all cost, because I wanted to take care of that part. I wanted to give her the kind of wedding that made her eyes shine, so I saved quietly, consistently, faithfully, a little from every paycheck, annual bonuses, even half of the inheritance my grandfather left me. I created a separate joint wedding account. Told her she could check it any time, but she always said, "I trust you, baby. You're so good with money. I don't want to stress over it." I liked hearing that. It made me feel appreciated, needed, dependable. I didn't know then that trust was a one-way street in our relationship. Things started changing slowly. So slowly I didn't recognize the signs until it was too late. It began about 6 months ago. Maya started becoming distant. Nothing dramatic at first. It's just little shifts in her behavior, the kind you only notice when you love someone deeply. She started coming home later. Work was crazy today. She started hiding her phone. My battery's dying. Started wearing perfume to places she never used to. It just makes me feel good. I told myself she was just stressed. Company was going through a restructuring. She had new responsibilities, longer hours. I didn't want to seem insecure, so I let it slide. But there was one night, one very specific night, when something inside me whispered that something was wrong. I was sitting on the couch, finalizing a savings target spreadsheet for the wedding. When she walked into the room, I looked up and said, "Hey love, check this out. I think I've finally reached the number we talked AB." She froze, completely froze. Her smile disappeared instantly. Her face went pale. Her eyes darted straight to my laptop as if I'd opened something I wasn't supposed to. I'll never forget the fear in her expression. "Maya, what's wrong?" Her voice trembled slightly. "Oh, I just thought maybe we should. Maybe not look at the money stuff tonight. I had a long day. I didn't push." But her reaction stayed with me. Why would she look scared of me checking the wedding savings? Why would money numbers bother her? Later that night, she cuddled closer than usual. She kissed me softly. She whispered, "I love you so much. Please don't ever doubt that." I didn't know it then. That was her guilt talking. And guilt always tries to fix what the truth is preparing to break. A month later, she changed again. More secretive, more tired, more emotional. Then one morning, she sat beside me on the bed, grabbed my hand and said with trembling lips, "Baby, I think I might be pregnant." My heart exploded. My mind went blank. I felt joy, pure, uncontrollable joy. I pulled her into my arms. I kissed her forehead. I told her everything would be okay, that we'd figure things out, that maybe we could even move the wedding earlier. But she didn't smile. She didn't look happy. She didn't look scared either. She looked trapped. The time I thought she was just overwhelmed. But now I know what that expression really was. The look of someone who had made a mistake and didn't know how long they could hide it. The most painful part of betrayal isn't the moment you discover the truth. It's the moment you finally notice the clues you ignored. Her sudden mood swings, her unexplained absences, her whispered phone calls in the hallway, her refusing intimacy because she didn't feel good, her checking the wedding account without telling me. All of it was there. All of it was warning me, but I was too in love, too loyal, too ready to build a life with her. to see the storm forming behind her eyes. If I had listened to my instincts sooner, maybe I would have saved myself. But love makes fools out of the best of us, and I was about to learn just how deep betrayal can cut when it comes from the woman you plan to marry. Asterisk, the morning after Maya told me she might be pregnant, she acted softer than usual, almost too soft. Every time I walked past her, she reached for my hand. Every time I looked at her, she smiled too quickly. Every time I stood still for even a second, she hugged me. It felt sweet at first, till it didn't. Because sweetness that suddenly appears without reason is not sweetness. It's panic-wearing. Perfume. I ignored the uneasiness. I chose to believe she was just emotional about the pregnancy. It was normal, right? But a few days later, something happened that pulled at my instincts again. I was sitting at the dining table, updating the wedding budget spreadsheet, when Maya walked in. She froze when she saw the numbers on my laptop. "Hey," I said softly. "I'm just adjusting the venue costs, Ethan," she interrupted, voice too calm to be natural. "Why do you always check the wedding account?" I blinked. "What? Do you mean I manage our finances? I always have?" She wrapped her arms around herself, a nervous gesture I'd never seen before. I don't know. It makes me feel guilty that you're doing all the heavy lifting, maybe. Maybe. I should be in charge of the account for a while. Her request felt off. Very off. "You want to handle the savings?" I asked, surprised. "Yeah, I think it's fair. You've done so much." I studied her carefully. She couldn't meet my eyes. "Maya," I said slowly, "are you worried I'll judge you for spending something?" Her head snapped up. "What? No, of course not. I would never touch that money." I hadn't accused her of anything, but guilty people hear accusations everywhere. Her voice cracked. I just want to feel involved." I reached for her hand and kissed it gently. "You are involved, but this account, it's for our future. I want to protect it." Her shoulders relaxed, not in relief, but in resignation. She gave up too icily, as if she realized she wouldn't get access. That should have been the moment I dug deeper. But love, as usual, blinded me. The next few weeks were tense. Maya stopped joining wedding calls. She skipped dress selection day. She postponed cake tasting. She claimed work was overwhelming, that she was exhausted, that her hormones were all over the place. Meanwhile, her phone became another person in our relationship, always face down, always on silent, always glued to her hand. Once, when she was in the shower, her phone buzzed repeatedly. 5 messages in a row. The name was hidden. Just a gray circle and a number. I didn't touch it. I didn't read anything. But something cold tightened in my chest. Later that night, while she slept, I whispered, "Maya, you hiding something from me?" She shifted in her sleep and curled into me, murmuring, "I love you, Ethan." And that was enough to silence my suspicion temporarily. Then came the first major financial red flag. I checked the wedding account one morning and noticed the balance was slightly lower than usual. Not by a lot. It's just enough to make me frown. $200 missing. I thought maybe it was a small auto payment. A bank fee, a transfer I forgot about. So I asked her casually later that night, "Hey babe, did you use the wedding account for anything?" Her reaction was too fast. No, I wasn't accusing. I was asking. "Okay," I said gently. "Maybe it was me. I'll check again." She nodded too quickly, too sharply. I smiled to ease the tension. She forced a smile back. That was the beginning too. Days later, $50 disappeared. A week later, $300. Then another $1-50. Tiny withdrawals. Small enough to avoid suspicion. Small enough to appear harmless. But they weren't harmless. They were breadcrumbs leading to a truth. Didn't want to see around this time. Maya also began picking subtle fights. "Why don't you trust me? Why do you always check the account? Why are you so controlling?" None of these arguments made sense. I wasn't accusing her of anything. I wasn't restricting her. I wasn't doubting her. But she felt attacked anyway. That's when I learned something important. The guilty defend themselves against battles you never planned to fight. One night, after another tiny withdrawal, I confronted her gently. Maya, is sure everything's okay? You've been acting different, and there are small deductions in the wedding account. Her face went blank, then defensive. I told you I didn't take anything. Why don't you believe me? Maya, I didn't say you took. You don't. Trust me, she whispered, tears welling up. You think I'm lying? You think I'm stealing? No, I said softly, holding her face. I think you're hiding something you're afraid to tell me. Her breath hitched. For a moment, a tiny, fragile moment, I saw the truth flicker in her eyes. Fear, guilt, shame, asterisk, but then she blinked, wiped her tears and whispered, I just need you to love me. Okay, please don't question me, right? Now, I held her. I kissed her forehead. I apologized. I promised myself I'd stop being suspicious. But that night, as she fell asleep on my chest, I stared at the ceiling and felt the truth inching closer. Something was slipping through. My fingers, not money. My relationship. And I didn't even know it yet. The weeks that followed were strange. Maya wasn't the woman I fell in love with. She was a shadow of her. A version built out of stress, secrets, and something else I couldn't name yet. She became more emotional, more sensitive, more unpredictable. One minute she was clinging to me like we were inseparable. The next she was cold, withdrawn, and unreachable. I told myself it was because she might be pregnant. Hormones, stress, fear. But when someone's love changes overnight, it isn't hormones. It's loyalty shifting. One afternoon, I came home early from work. I wanted to surprise her. Planned to cook dinner, run a bath for her, and talk about our future child, the baby she told me she might be carrying. I walked into the apartment, quietly. Her voice drifted from the bedroom. She was on the phone. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I froze when I heard her tone. Soft, fearful, desperate. I said I would figure it out. Please don't do this to me now. Silence. No, you don't understand. I can't just tell him. More silence. Yes, I know the money is gone. I told you I didn't have a choice. I stepped back accidentally, and the floor creaked. Her voice stopped instantly. Maya? I called out. A moment later, she rushed out of the room, fake smile plastered on her face. Hey, you're home early. She hugged me, but her hands were shaking. Who were you talking to? I asked softly. She froze for half a second, just half, then recovered. Oh, just my cousin. She's dealing with some drama. Lie. Clear, sharp, sloppy lie. But I forced a smile. Everything okay? She nodded too quickly. Yeah, perfect. Absolutely perfect. But her eyes were red. Her cheeks were flushed, and her phone was clutched in her hand like it contained a bomb. That night, she came to bed late. She slid under the covers, wrapped her arms around me, and whispered, Ethan, do you love me? Her voice was so small it broke something inside me. Of course I do, I said, kissing her forehead. And something happened, something unexpected. Would you still love me? My heart tightened. Maya, what are you talking about? She shook her head quickly. Nothing. I'm just being emotional. Can you just hold me? And I did. For hours, until she fell asleep. But I didn't, because her question wasn't random. It was a warning disguised as insecurity. The next morning she looked exhausted. She moved. Slowly, she cried twice over nothing. She flinched every time her phone buzzed. Then while I was making coffee, she walked up behind me and whispered, We need to talk. My stomach dropped. I turned around slowly. She looked terrified. Ethan, I took a test. My heart began pounding and whispered, positive, negative. Was I about to be a father? She swallowed hard and handed me a small plastic stick. I stared down at it. 2 lines. Positive. My throat tightened, and all I could do was breathe out. Maya, we're having a baby. She burst into tears, but not tears of joy, tears of something much darker. She nodded and collapsed into my arms, sobbing so loudly it echoed in the kitchen. I held her, whispering reassurance. I'm here. We'll figure it out. I love you. I love our baby. Everything will be okay. But she didn't respond. She cried harder. Her body shook violently. That wasn't how a woman reacts. She shares pregnancy news with the man she loves. That was how someone reacts when they're handing over a truth they never wanted to give. For the next week, she changed completely. Some days she was affectionate, holding my hand, kissing my cheek, resting her head on my chest. Other days she avoided me completely, locking herself in the bathroom, crying silently in the shower, flinching when I touched her shoulder. I asked gently, "Maya, what's going on? Is something wrong with the pregnancy?" She shook her head violently. "No, nothing's wrong. I just need time to adjust." But she wasn't adjusting. She was unraveling. One night she whispered, "Ethan, what if this isn't the right time? What if we're not ready? What if I place my finger on her lips gently? Maya, I want this baby. I want our future. I want you." But she cried harder. "No, you don't," she whispered. "You don't know the whole story." Those words became knives inside my mind. The whole story. What whole story? Right. But every time I tried to ask, she shut down. Every attempt, every question, every moment of gentle encouragement ended with, "Please don't push me, Ethan." I didn't know it then. She wasn't scared of pregnancy. She was scared of the truth pregnancy revealed, and the truth was coming, sooner than she expected. Sooner than I was ready for, because lies have expiration dates. Hers was about to expire in the worst way possible. Asterisk, when people talk about heartbreak, they usually describe emotional pain. But the first time my heart cracked wasn't because of love, it was because of a number that shouldn't have changed. Number I checked every Sunday morning like a sacred ritual, our wedding savings account. 5 years of effort, 5 years of discipline, 5 years of hope. That Sunday, I made myself a cup of coffee, sat on the couch, opened the banking app, and froze. The balance was wrong. Very wrong. I rubbed my eyes. Refreshed the page. No change. I refreshed it again. And again, reality didn't shift. $30,000. 5 years of sacrifice. Was now $21,000. $17,000 gone overnight. My body turned cold. I checked the transaction history with shaking fingers. It was a transfer I never made, a name I didn't recognize. A withdrawal. It felt like someone had sliced a piece of my chest open. I stared at it so long my coffee went cold. After a full minute of disbelief, I called out softly, "Maya." She walked out of the bedroom, hair messy, eyes tired. "What's wrong?" she asked groggily. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse her. I simply turned the screen toward her and whispered, "What is this?" Reaction was instant, too. Instant. Her eyes widened, then she blinked hard, forcing her face into confusion. "Babe, I don't know. What am I looking at?" "What?" "This transfer," I said quietly. $17,000? It's gone." She frowned. "From the wedding account?" "Yes." She stared for 3 seconds too long. Then she gasped dramatically. "Wait, oh God, Ethan, I think my cousin used my login." Lie. A sloppy lie. The kind people invent when they're caught and unprepared. "Maya, your cousin doesn't have access." I might have given it to her once, you didn't." "Okay, but maybe she remembered the password." "Stop," I said gently. She froze. I wasn't angry. I wasn't shouting. But the quietness in my voice made her tremble. "Maya, please tell me the truth. Where did our wedding savings go?" She wrapped her arms around herself, eyes darting everywhere except at me. I swear, it wasn't for anything bad. "My cousin really needed help, Maya," I repeated. "You don't have a cousin with that name." She stopped breathing. I watched her break slowly, piece by piece, her shoulders sagging, her lips trembling, her eyes filling with tears. But her voice, still lying, "Ethan, I didn't want to bother you with family problems. I thought I could fix it. I'll put the money back with what The question slipped out before I could stop it. She shook her head like a child, desperately trying to escape consequences. I'll figure it out. Just please don't be mad. Please don't yell. I wasn't yelling. Just sat there, staring at the woman I planned to spend my life with as she fell apart under the weight of her own secrets. Why didn't you tell me? I whispered. She covered her face. I was scared of what? That you'd hate me. I don't hate you, I said softly. But I don't understand you. She sobbed harder. I didn't want to ruin everything. Not the wedding. Not us. She dropped onto the couch beside me, crying into her hands, body shaking. If I didn't know the truth yet, I almost would have believed this performance. I wrapped my arm around her shoulders, gently rubbing her back. Maya, whatever's happening, we can fix it together. Just don't lie to me. She nodded quickly. Too quickly. I won't lie, she whispered, her voice cracking. But she already had, and she would lie again, because this wasn't just a missing money problem. This was the first. Domino, that night, she clung to me desperately, crying herself to sleep while whispering apologies. I held her, comforted her, told her I wasn't angry, and I would not yet, but something inside me had shifted. A hairline fracture in my trust, tiny, invisible, but deep. The next morning, I checked the account again. The money was still gone, but something else changed. 2. Maya didn't try to touch me, didn't try to hug me, didn't say I love you. Instead, she avoided eye contact, walked around me like a ghost, and left the apartment without breakfast. On her way out, she whispered, I promise, I'll fix it. Please don't give up on us. I didn't answer, not because I didn't want to, because something told me the real betrayal hadn't even started yet. And I was right. Because money disappearing was nothing compared to what I was about to discover. Next, the man behind the missing money, and the baby that wasn't mine. When trust breaks, it doesn't shatter loudly. It cracks slowly, quietly, until one day the whole structure collapses with a single touch. For me, the collapse began with a bank notification, a small one, just a line of text, a simple push. Alert, but that single alert changed everything. The second WITHDRA3. Days after Maya insisted she would fix the missing $17,000, my phone buzzed at work. $1,200 withdrawal from joint wedding account. My stomach dropped. This wasn't tiny like the previous odd amounts. This was deliberate, purposeful, and it wasn't me. I stepped out of the office, walked to the parking lot, and sat in my car with trembling hands. $1,200. Gone, after she promised she didn't use the account. My pulse hammered in my ears as I opened the banking app. The transaction details showed. Transfer to A.R. Mercer, a name I didn't recognize. Not family. Not a vendor. Not anything connected to us. I felt something go cold inside me. The kind of cold that doesn't come from fear, but from recognition. Something was deeply wrong. The phone Callie called Maya immediately. She answered on the third. Ring, breathless. Hey, babe. I'm in a meeting, can I call you back? Who is A.R. Mercer? I asked quietly. Silence, dead silence, Maya. I don't know, she finally stammered. Maybe the bank made a mistake. Banks don't make mistakes that transfer $1,200, I said. She inhaled sharply. Ethan, please, not now. I'll explain everything later. Okay, I'm busy. Then she hung up on me. I stared at the screen, heartbeat echoing like a drum. Busy? I had never heard her use that tone with me before. Cold, irritated, panicked. That's when I decided something. I wasn't waiting for explanations anymore. I was going to find the truth. The RECIPTS, when she came home that evening. Her eyes were red and her face puffy. She'd been crying, but not enough to look innocent. She hugged me too tightly. Kiss me, she whispered against my neck. Her affection was not love. It was fear. While she showered, her purse sat on the couch. A small corner of a folded paper peeked out. For the first time in our relationship, I went through her things. A single decision that split my life into before and after. Inside the purse were crumpled receipts, ATM slips of folded paper with handwriting, a hospital bill. My hands shook as I opened each one. Receipt number 1. A hotel bar tab, not in her name. 2 drinks. A late-night charge? Date matched the week she claimed she was at a friend's house crying about pregnancy stress. Receipt number 2. Baby store purchase. Prenatal vitamins. Not unusual. Except it wasn't from the store we usually shopped at. Receipt number 3. A $600 cash withdrawal slip from the same day. I saw her crying in her car about work. Then the worst of them all, receipt number 4. A hospital ultrasound bill. But the patient name was not hers. My breath caught. The name read, Aiden R. Mercer. R. Mercer. The same name from the bank transfer, the same man my fiancé had given $1,200 of our wedding savings to, the same man whose ultrasound bill she paid, for the man whose baby she might be carrying. The message in my hands were sweating as I unfolded the final paper, a handwritten note. Just 6 words. 6 words that set my whole world on fire. I promise I'll take care of it. No name, no signature. No explanation. Just a promise shared between my fiancé and a stranger. A promise paid for with my wedding savings. The confrontation that didn't shape in. When Maya walked out of the shower, hair dripping, towel wrapped around her, she found me. Sitting on the couch holding the receipts, her smile died instantly. What? What are you doing? She whispered. I raised the ultrasound bill slowly. Who is Aiden Mercer? She froze. Her lips parted. Her pupils dilated. Her breath hitched. But instead of answering, she ran to the bedroom, slammed the door, and began sobbing so loudly it rattled the walls. She didn't deny it. She didn't pretend. She broke, and that was my confirmation. But I didn't go after her. I didn't touch the door. Didn't comfort her. Didn't yell. I simply sat there in silence, letting all the pieces fall into place. The missing money, pregnancy fear, the secret calls, the tears, the defensive anger. It all led to one truth. My fiancé was taking care of another man, financially, emotionally, romantically, intimately, and the baby she carried. The baby she told me might be ours belonged to him. Asterisk when someone betrays you. You expect the truth to come with noise, shouting, fighting, slamming doors. But real betrayal doesn't sound like war. It sounds like whispering behind closed doors. The night I discovered the receipts in the ultrasound bill, Maya locked herself in the bedroom and cried until dawn. I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch, staring at the evidence in my hands, feeling my world settle into an unfamiliar shape. By sunrise, she finally came out. Her eyes were swollen, her face pale. She looked at me like a criminal looks at a judge. I spoke softly, Maya. What's going on? She shook her head violently. Please, I just need some time. Please don't ask me yet. I need to think. Time. She needed time? I didn't argue. I didn't push. I just nodded, because I knew time wasn't going to save her anymore. The truth was already bleeding through the walls. The phone call that changed EVRY. Tia Chinger. The next evening. I came home from work early again. Walking up the apartment stairs, I heard her voice shaky, desperate, breaking. You can't just leave me like this, Aiden? I froze. Her voice wasn't muffled enough. She was pacing near the front window. I could hear every word. You promised you'd stay, she cried. You said you'd help me raise the baby. My heart stopped beating. I gave you everything, she screamed. I spent all the wedding money on you. I paid your bills. I covered your rent, and now you want to disappear. My vision blurred, but she wasn't done. Her voice cracked in half. What am I supposed to tell Ethan? That the baby isn't his? The air left my lungs. The world tilted. My knees almost buckled. I wasn't supposed to hear this. She wasn't supposed to say it out loud. But she did. And every word hit me like a hammer. The baby, the money, the lies, everything. Made sense now. Everything aligned into one terrifying truth. My fiancée was pregnant, but not with my child. And she spent my wedding savings on the man who got her pregnant. I stood at the door and LASTN, teased, outside. Frozen, I continued listening. Please. Aiden, Maya begged. Don't do this to me. I can't raise this baby alone. I can't tell Ethan the truth. He'll hate me. He'll leave. Silence. Then her voice broke further. I only asked for a little help. You said you loved me. You said I was the only one who cared about you. I gave you everything. Why are you abandoning me now? Another silence. Then she whispered the words I needed to hear. I told Ethan the baby might be his. He believes me. Please don't ruin this for me. The sound that came out of me wasn't a breath. It was a wound. I leaned back against the stair rail, trying to stop myself from collapsing. She lied to me. She lied about the baby. She lied about the money. She lied about everything, and all of it. All of it was to support a man who didn't even want her. I entered the APA RTM1. I finally walked inside. She was still on the phone. She turned toward the door and froze. Her face, the shock, the horror, the guilt told me everything. She dropped the phone. It clattered on the floor. Her lips parted. Ethan. How long have you? Long enough, I whispered. She started shaking. Her hands flew to her stomach instinctively, protectively. Even that hurt. Maya, I said calmly, whose baby is it? She collapsed to her knees immediately. No. No, Ethan, please don't make me say it. Whose baby is it? My voice wasn't loud. It wasn't angry. It wasn't threatening. It was empty. Hollow. A dead voice from a living man. She sobbed, shaking violently. It's Aiden's. My heart cracked, not loudly but quietly, like ice splitting under weight. Her confession didn't bring anger. It brought clarity. A cold, terrifying clarity. I knelt down slowly and picked up the ultrasound bill. You paid his medical expenses, I said. She nodded, crying harder. In his hotel. Another nod. In his rent. Sob. And you gave him $17,000 of our wedding savings? She shook her head desperately and grabbed my hand. But no, I didn't give it to him. I loaned it. I thought he'd pay me back. I thought he'd stay with me. I thought I pulled my hand away. Her tears landed on the floor like broken glass. She crawled toward me on her knees, grabbing my leg. Ethan, please don't leave me. I messed up. Made a mistake. I didn't mean to fall in love with him. That sentence hit harder than any confession. I stepped back. She collapsed completely. The sentence that ended us, I looked at her. This woman I saved for, sacrificed for, planned a life with. Said the words that had been sitting on my tongue since the stairwell. You didn't fall in love with him, Maya. You fell in love with hiding from me. She sobbed so hard she choked on her breath, but I didn't comfort her. Not anymore, because now I finally understood her betrayal wasn't an accident. It was a choice. A long, deliberate choice. And I was just the man paying for it. People think the hardest part of betrayal is discovering the lie. It's not. The hardest part is listening to the truth from the mouth of someone you once trusted with your life. When Maya collapsed in front of me, sobbing uncontrollably, I felt nothing, no anger, no rage, no heartbreak, just emptiness, a cold silence swelling inside me. Ethan, please, she choked out, crawling toward me on her hands and knees. Please don't look at me like that. I didn't move, didn't blink. Tell me everything, I said. She flinched at my voice, not because it was loud, but because it was. It was calm, terrifyingly calm. She wiped her face with trembling hands and whispered, I didn't mean for it to happen. I didn't react. I didn't comfort her. Start from the beginning, I said softly. Tell me how you met him. The affair, she stared at the floor. He works at my office. He was new. He was charming. He understood me. Her voice broke. He made me feel special. appreciated. And I was stressed with wedding planning, and you were always working, and I felt alone. Blame, even in confession. She needed a place to put her guilt. So you slept with him? I said quietly. She buried her face in her hands. Yes. Yes, but I didn't mean to. We were drunk. It was a mistake. I regretted it the next morning. I leaned down slightly. When did it start? She looked up with shattered eyes. 4 months ago? 4 months? While I saved money. While I planned our future. While I dreamed of our wedding. And how many times? Her lips trembled violently. I don't know. I inhaled sharply. Try. She sobbed. 7, maybe 8. Sometimes at his place. Sometimes business trips. My stomach twisted. Were you in love with him? She shook her head immediately, too fast to be true. No, Ethan, I wasn't. I swear, Maya, I said calmly. You told him you loved him on the phone yesterday. She froze, her face turned white. I was scared he'd leave me. I didn't mean it, I swear. But I wasn't listening anymore. My mind was already dissecting her words. The money? How did my wedding savings become his money? She collapsed back onto the floor, hugging her knees. He was struggling. He said he couldn't afford rent. His car broke down, so you funded him. She cried harder. He said he'd pay me back. Said he just needed help. For a little while with my money, I whispered. She shook her head desperately. I only borrowed it. I was going to put it back, I interrupted. You transferred $17,000. That's not borrowing. That's support. She collapsed deeper into herself. But I didn't want to lose you, she sobbed. I wanted to marry. You, I really did. I got caught between both lives and I didn't know how to leave them. Both lives. She said it without realizing what it meant. I wasn't the only life she was living. I was just the stable one. The pregnant sigh sat down slowly, facing her. She shook her head violently. No, Ethan. Please. Please don't ask. Whose baby is it? I asked calmly. She pressed her hands to her stomach, as if shielding the child from truth. I'm so sorry, she whispered. Maya, whose baby is it? Her voice cracked open like glass Aidens. I didn't breathe. Couldn't she reach for my hand, desperate? I didn't know how to tell you. I panicked. I thought maybe it could be yours. I didn't want to lose you. I didn't want to ruin everything. I pulled my hand away. Her cry was instant, a raw, wounded sound that filled the entire apartment. The man she lost everything for, you loved him, I said quietly. I didn't. I swear I didn't. You gave him my money. Gave him your body, you gave him your loyalty, gave him your heart, and you gave him a child. Each sentence hit her like a blow. She shook her head violently, crawling closer, but he left me. He used me. He took everything. And now he's gone. Ethan, please, Lisa, I know I messed up. I stood up slowly. She grabbed my leg. My voice remained soft. You didn't mess up, Maya. You built an entire secret life with another man. No, she whispered. Yes, I said. And you've paid for that life with my savings. She broke completely, sobbing against my knee, pulling at my clothes, begging like someone drowning. Ethan, please forgive me. I'm pregnant and alone. I need you. I don't want to lose you. I'll do anything. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Please don't leave me. Voice cracked into pieces, but it didn't touch me. Not anymore, because her apology wasn't love. It was fear. Fear of losing the stability she thought would always be there. I said the word she tried when she finally looked up, red-eyed, broken, shaking. I whispered calmly, quietly, fatally, Maya, we're done. Her scream was instant, a sound of pure despair, but the decision. The decision was already carved into my bones. She destroyed us long before I said the words. Asterisk when you love someone. You protect them without thinking. When you've been betrayed, you protect yourself the same way, instinctively, quietly, relentlessly. Morning, after I told Maya we were done, the apartment was silent. She didn't sleep. I heard her crying until sunrise, whispering apologies into her pillow, as if words could glue dead trust back together. I didn't sleep either, but not because of heartbreak, because of clarity. Betrayal has a strange way of sharpening the mind. For the first time in months, I thought clearly, logically, ruthlessly. She had dismantled our future. She had spent my life savings. She had carried another man's child while lying in my arms. And yet, she expected me to save her. But I wasn't going to save her. I was going to save myself. Step 1. Freezing the ACCOENT at 7 a.m. I dressed quietly and left the apartment without a word. Maya sat on the couch, knees to her chest, arms wrapped around her stomach. She looked up at me with red, swollen eyes. "Ethan, where are you going? To fix things," I said simply. Hope flickered in her. She thought I meant us. She was wrong. I drove directly to the bank. When I walked in, the banker smiled warmly. "How can we help you today?" "I need to freeze a joint account," I said. She typed for a moment. "Oh, your wedding savings?" "Yes, of course." "Are you adding restrictions?" "No, I'm removing someone." The banker looked up slowly. "Are you sure?" "Yes." "Do you have documentation?" I placed the printed receipts on her desk. $17,000 transfer, the ultrasound bill, the rent payments, the hotel charge, the cash withdrawals. Her expression tightened. "I'm very sorry you're dealing with this." "Freeze the account," I repeated. 5 minutes later, the account belonged to me alone. 5 years of savings were finally safe from the woman who had turned them to currency for her affair. I walked out feeling lighter, not happy, not healed, but in control. Step 2. Canceling the WID. I drove to the venue office. The planner recognized me immediately. "Ethan, you're early. Is Maya joining us?" "No," I said simply. "And there won't be a wedding." Smile faded slowly. "Oh, I'm sorry. Are you sure?" I nodded. Processed the cancellation. There were fees, of course. There were deposits I wouldn't get back. There were questions she politely didn't ask. But when she handed me the paperwork to sign, my signature felt like closure, like ripping off a bandage that had been rotting underneath. Step 3. Protecting Maya future. By midday, I had removed Maya from the bank account, frozen the savings, canceled the venue, canceled the florist, canceled the caterer, removed her from all financial documents, contacted my attorney to secure myself legally. Every vendor responded with sympathy. Every cancellation hurt a little, but pain is temporary. Protection is permanent. Step 4. The first shift in POWI. When I came home that afternoon, Maya was exactly where I left her, sitting on the couch, knees pulled to her chest, eyes swollen, hands gripping the blanket like a child. As soon as I opened the door, she stood quickly. "Ethan, where were you?" I was so scared. "Sit," I said calmly. She didn't stand like someone obeying a doctor or a judge. I sat across from her. "I froze the account," I said quietly. Her breath caught. "You? What? You no longer have access." She shook her head in disbelief. "But Ethan, I told you I would fix it. I told you I'd put it back. You spent my wedding savings on another man," I said plainly. "You don't get access to them anymore." Her eyes flooded. No, please don't do this. I need that money. I'm pregnant with his child," corrected it. It was the first time I said it out loud. Her whole body shook. I know, but Ethan, please. I can't do this alone. You're the only stable person I have. Please don't abandon me." "I'm not abandoning you," I said. "I'm removing myself from your consequences." She cried harder. "Please, baby. Please don't talk like that. I need you. I love you." "Stop," I said softly. Her sobs quieted instantly. "You don't love me, Maya. You love the version of me who doesn't know the truth." She broke again, loud, messy, desperate. But I didn't comfort her. Not anymore. Step 5. Her panics. Crawled toward me on her knees. "Ethan, please, don't leave me. I'll do anything. I'll cut him off. I'll never speak to him again. I'll get a second job. I'll pay you back every dollar. I'll make it right, please. Ethan, please. Don't go. She wrapped her arms around my leg. I gently stepped back. She fell forward onto the carpet. Sobbing, it was the first time she realized she had lost control of the situation, because betrayal doesn't just cost love, it costs power. The power shift was completed. Walked toward the door, Ethan. Where are you going? She screamed. To get fresh air. When will you be back? I don't know. Her voice cracked open. Please, please, don't give up on me. I looked at her one last time. You gave up on us first. Then I closed the door. Her scream. On the other side was long, broken, devastated, but my steps felt steady. For the first time, I wasn't the one falling apart. When I returned home, the apartment was dark, not quiet dark. The kind of darkness that feels intentional, as if the person inside wants to disappear. I found Maya sitting on the floor in the hallway, knees to her chest, head resting against the wall. The moment she saw me, her face crumpled. Ethan, she whispered, voice raw. You came back. She stood shakily and rushed toward me, not to hug me, but to hold on to me like someone clinging to the edge of a cliff. Her hands grabbed my shirt. I'm sorry. So sorry. Please, just give me a chance. Please talk to me. Gently. Removed her hands from my chest. Maya, I said quietly, we need to end this. She shook her head instantly, violently. No, please don't say that. We can fix this. I can fix this. I'll make it right. You can't fix this, I replied softly. You didn't break a rule. You broke our foundation. Sank to her knees. Ethan, please, she whispered. Her voice was so small it barely existed. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But I didn't think you would leave me. I didn't think it would get this far. I never wanted to lose you. I crouched down so we were eye level. You didn't lose me yesterday, I said. You lost me the moment you chose him. No, she sobbed, shaking her head. Didn't choose him. It was a mistake. Mistakes don't last for months, I said calmly. Mistakes don't involve hotel rooms, or rent payments, or secret calls, or a positive pregnancy test that isn't mine. She covered her mouth, choking on her own breath. It wasn't love, she cried. It was confusion, weakness, fear. I swear, Ethan, I never wanted a future with him. I wanted one with you. I stood slowly. She grabbed the hem of my shirt again. Please, don't do this. Don't walk away. I need you. I looked down at her, this broken version of the woman I once wanted to marry, and I felt something strange. Not hatred, not anger, just sadness. Sadness for who she could have been. Sadness for who we could have been, but mostly sadness for the man I had been. Blind, loyal, trusting, while she built a lie around me. Maya, I said, you didn't need me when you were with him. You didn't need me when you spent my savings on him. You didn't need me when you stayed in his bed. You didn't need me when you let him put a child inside you. Her sobbing turned into a quiet, broken whimper. But I need you now, she whispered. That was the cruelest part of betrayal. The guilty only need you when the person they replaced you with abandons them. The ring you walked into the bedroom, opened the drawer, and pulled out the engagement ring. When I returned, she stared at it as if it were a ghost. No, she whispered. Please don't take that off, please, Ethan. Placed the ring gently on the floor beside her, not thrown. Not dropped, placed, symbolic, final, calm. You don't get to wear something built on lies, said. She reached for the ring with trembling fingers, but I covered it with my hand first. She looked up, eyes full of hope. Does this mean? I said softly. This means goodbye. Her entire body collapsed. She sobbed into her palms, shoulders shaking violently, crying like someone losing a part of themselves, and in a way she was. Not me, but the version of me she relied on. The man who would fix everything, forgive everything, save her from everything. That man was gone. The final words, I don't know how to be without you, she whispered from the floor. You should have thought about that, I replied. Before you tried to build a life with someone else while keeping me as the backup. She cried harder. I loved you. She whispered, You loved what I gave you, I answered, not who I was. Her head lifted slowly, eyes desperate. Will you ever forgive me? Yes, I said. Hope flashed in her expression. For exactly 1 second. Then I added, but forgiving you doesn't mean staying with you. She froze. I continued, I can forgive the mistake, but I can't rebuild trust in a home that burned down. She reached out toward me. I stepped back. Her hand hung in the air, shaking. Goodbye, Maya, I whispered. She broke, collapsed, cried louder than she ever had, cried until her voice vanished. But I didn't waver. I walked to the door, opened. It stood there one last moment and said the final sentence she ever heard from me. Take care of your baby. Right. It deserves honesty, even if we never had it. Then I stepped out and closed the door on everything we used to be. Asterisk when I walked out of that apartment for the last time. Expected the world to feel heavy, but it didn't. It felt quiet still. Strangely clean. Betrayal leaves a film over everything, your thoughts, your dreams, your memories. But walking away from it felt like rinsing off in cold water after drowning for too long. For the first time in months. I could breathe. I didn't know what the future looked like, but I knew exactly what it didn't include. Lies, secrets, manipulation, guilt that wasn't mine, responsibility for a baby that wasn't mine, and a woman who wanted stability while giving loyalty to someone else. I got in my car, started the engine, and drove without thinking. Not to escape, but to reclaim the parts of me she had slowly chipped away. The aftermath, he stayed at a hotel. That night, not because I needed space, but because I needed peace. The next morning, I saw 3 missed calls from Maya, then 5, then 12, then a voice message. Ethan, please come home. Please talk to me. I'm scared. Please don't leave me alone. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't listen to the rest. My phone chimed again. A long paragraph of messages, then another, and another. By noon, they weren't apologizing anymore. They were panicking. He blocked me, changed his number. He said he doesn't want to be involved. I don't know what to do, please. I need you. I put the phone down. It wasn't cruelty. It was closure. Because I realized something. I wasn't the man she reached for when she loved. I was the man she reached for when she fell. And I refused to be the emergency exit from a fire. She started. Her karma begins. 2 days later, her sister called me. She didn't yell. She didn't blame me. She simply said, Ethan. Maya told us everything. We're shocked. We didn't know she was living a double life. I stayed silent. She's staying with us now, her sister continued. She hasn't stopped crying. Aiden won't speak to her. His family blocked her, and, well, her job found out. I closed my eyes. Her company had strict policies on workplace relationships, especially between employees and supervisors. What happened? I asked quietly. She's suspended. Her sister whispered. Possibly fired. They're reviewing everything. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. But karma. Karma arrived fast. You don't spend someone else's savings on the man you cheated with and walk away unscathed. Life isn't that unfair, even if love sometimes is. Our final exchange a week later. She sent me one last message. I'm keeping the baby. I don't know how to do this alone. I don't know how to be a good mother. And I know this is all my fault. I just want to say, you were the best thing that ever happened to me. I've ruined everything. You didn't deserve any of this. Sorry, goodbye. I read it twice. Then I replied, I hope you heal. I hope the baby gives you purpose. We're done, Maya. We'll never revisit this. Take care of yourself. That was the last time we ever spoke. Moving for WAR. Healing wasn't instant. Some days I woke up angry. Some days I woke up numb. Some days I questioned how I didn't see it sooner. Some days I replayed every memory trying to find the moment. She stopped loving me. But healing isn't a straight line. It's messy, uneven, silent, layered, and with every week that passed, I felt a little lighter. I picked up old hobbies, reconnected with friends, went back to the gym. Cooked meals I always meant to try, Life slowly became mine again. Not shared. Not weighed down mine. The less so in one day. Months later. I sat in a cafe watching an older couple share a slice of cake and laugh like teenagers. And it hit me. Love isn't proven by sacrifice. Love is proven by loyalty. I sacrificed for Maya. Saved for her. I planned my future around her, but she never chose loyalty. And without loyalty, love is just theater. Beautiful, rehearsed. Hollow. Where I am an OW, sometimes people ask, do you regret loving her? And the answer is, no. Because healing didn't just teach me how to move on, it taught me how to choose better. I've grown. I've learned to listen to my instincts. I've learned that silence can reveal more truth than confessions.
I agree.
Learned that no amount of love can save someone who doesn't choose to be honest. And I learned something else. Betrayal does not break you. It rebuilds you, sharper, clearer, stronger, wiser. The final truth, Maya had her baby. It wasn't mine. It never would have been. She's raising the child alone, working again, stable in her own way. I don't hate her. I don't wish her pain, but I don't wish to return either, because walking away wasn't losing her. It was finding myself again. And sometimes, that's the only ending a broken love story needs.